segment. Get ready with your questions and the number in the studio. We have Pallavi Ahluwalia from the Ahluwalia Law Offices in the studio to answer all your questions on the airwaves of Fun Asia Radio 104.9 FM.
Welcome to your weekly community service show, Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia of Ahluwalia Law Offices. Tune into their show between 10:30 a.m. and 11 a.m. every Wednesday on 104.9 FM and ask her all your legal questions. Ms. Ahluwalia owns and operates Ahluwalia Law Offices PC. She received her law degree in 1996 from Southern Methodist University in Dallas, Texas, and also has a graduate degree in English Literature and Master of Philosophy in English Literature from the University of Punjab, Chandigarh in India. Ms. Ahluwalia is also a certified mediator and has served as an appointed mediator for Collin County Courts. In addition to regularly volunteering at legal aid clinics hosted by the Legal Aid of Northwest Texas, Ms. Ahluwalia serves as a legal advisor to Chetna, a non-profit organization working on issues related to domestic violence. She also spearheaded and participated in the inaugural annual legal aid clinic that was held to benefit the underprivileged South Asian community. Ms. Ahluwalia also served on the North American South Asian Bar Association's Executive Committee and is the founding president of the South Asian Bar Association of Dallas. Her speaking engagements have included being the speaker at the National South Asian Bar Association's annual conference, speaking at the conference held by the Texas chapter of the American Immigration Lawyers Association, and a presenter to the Indo-American Chamber of Commerce activities. She has been featured in Texas Lawyer magazine for an article on law firm ethics. Ms. Ahluwalia speaks English, Hindi, Urdu, and Spanish. Her office handles cases involving immigration and naturalization law, family law, business law, contract law, and civil litigation. She can be contacted directly at 972-361-0606 or pallavi@yourdesilawyer.com.
This is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. And for any legal question that you have in mind, which relates to immigration, family law, corporate law, or civil matters, do give us a call right now and she will give you all the answers on the airwave of Fun Asia Radio 104.9 FM. I am sure you do want the number in the studio once again, 972-235-5555. That's the number. And yes, also do want you all to know to get in touch with Pallavi for a private consultation. You do need to take an appointment and the number is 972-361-0606. Their website, ahluwalialaw.com, or most simply, you can remember the name yourdesilawyer.com and it will redirect you to ahluwalialaw.com. With that, I do want to welcome Pallavi on the airwaves of Fun Asia Radio 104.9 FM. A very good morning to you. How are you?
A wonderful morning to you, Mitu. I'm doing very well. So glad to be on your morning time show this Wednesday morning with Your Business Matters. We're glad to be here and to be able to answer questions for the community, hopefully completely on the air. We would like for you to be succinct in your questions so that we can get them and quickly answer them. But again, do attempt to try and get you the complete answer here on the air. Now, one more thing that I would want to point out to the community, and this is a request from the office. I know that we have this show here and we answer all the questions for you here, but when you are coming into the office, and you will be set up with a consultation, and there is a consultation policy that applies. So kindly be patient with the office when you're setting up appointments. And also here is where you get me free, completely free. So and I hope to be able to answer your questions so that you don't lack an answer that would have to get you into the office. So we're not here to just take you into our office. We attempt to answer your questions, but when you come to the office, and this is for the people in general, then there may be consultation policies that apply, and we kindly request you to just go along with the front desk policies. Thank you so much, Mitu, and let's start our show.
Which is absolutely reasonable. And quickly, let's just add that on your website, we have the recordings of all the live shows that you do here. So they can revisit their question any point of time or somebody else's.
Absolutely.
All right. With that, going to our first caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question to Pallavi.
Yeah, thank you, Neetu, for taking my call, and thank you, Pallavi, to give your valuable advice to the community.
Of course.
My question is, like, my parents have a visitor visa. It's been expiring end of this year. So I want to renew that visa. So what is the procedure and what documents are required?
Okay, so your parents are abroad right now, right? They're not here? They're abroad?
No, they are in India.
Okay, so so they may qualify for the Dropbox visa validation, which means that they may be exempt from an interview, and if they are meeting those qualifications for Dropbox visa processing, then I think they should be eligible for that. So just go over the requirements at the consulate. Which consulate are they at?
I think Mumbai Consulate.
At Mumbai? Okay.
Yeah.
So, I will, I mean, if you were to just even look up the Dropbox requirements for visa processing for Mumbai, you should be able to pull up links that should be able to assist you with that. So, and that would be how they would be able to renew it.
Okay, so they like for renewing visa, they not personally need to go to
Yes.
the consulate and get
Since
them.
they've just because for the interview waiver program, there is a Dropbox checklist. Okay, and I can just quickly do that criteria with you while we're on the air. The questions are: I have a previous US visa in the same class as the visa for which I wish to apply, which is what your parents will have. The most recent visa was issued in India. Okay, I received my visa after January 1st of 2008. My prior visa was not annotated clearance received or department authorization. My most recent visa in the same class for which I'm applying was issued on or after my 14th birthday. I have no refusals for visa in any class after my most recent visa issuance and applying for and so this is the criteria. So just you have to just kind of see if they are qualifying for it, then they may be exempt from the visa. Also may depend on their age and let's see. You said it's your parents, right?
Yeah, they both are like 65 and up.
Okay. And in the case for a visitor visa, if they had received their visa after August 1st of 2004, so their eligibility applies for the interview waiver.
Okay.
Okay. So after August 1st of 2004, but before January 2nd of 2008. So if they had applied for visa in between those 4 years, then they will be exempt for their visa interview. They will have a waiver. So they will complete their requirements for the online processing with USA Travel Docs and ustraveldocs.com. I mean, that's the website to go to apply. And once all those requirements have been met and they're qualifying for the criteria for the visa waiver, then it should not require that for them.
On their behalf, I can fill up that form online.
Yeah, you may be able to with all their biographic information and the appointment times and all should be given to you, but also have their information in there in terms of their addresses or an alternate email address for them as well, so that if the consulate does want to reach out to them, they're able to.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Pallavi.
Thank you. All the best to
Thank you so much and all the best to you. Moving on to our next caller. Once again, this is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. 972-361-0606 is the number to call for private consultation. And yes, the number in the studio, 972-235-5555. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Hi, I'm currently on L1A and I'm on extension. So I was just checking if I travel to India, do I have a Dropbox facility or I need to attend a visa interview again for the restamping?
So your L1A has been approved? It is approved, right? Because you can travel with an approval.
Yeah, I have extension till 2017.
Okay, so you have a 797 that says, so again, so I've just gone over the criteria just now, but was your last visa received after January 2008?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And your most recent visa was issued, of course, after your 14th birthday that I get. If you have, and you've had no refusals for this visa in any class, right, after this issuance?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And if you're applying for an L visa, your prior visa in the same class is still valid or expired within the last 12 months. Is that correct?
I earlier was on H1B.
Okay.
And then...
has that expired?
Yeah, in 2011 it has expired. Then in 2012 I applied for L1A, and then...
But it's never been stamped. It's never been stamped on your passport, correct?
L1A, it has been stamped.
Okay. When did that expire?
The stamp has expired in 2013.
Yeah, so then you're not, so the visa waiver in that sense of the interview waiver will not apply to you because that requires your prior visa to have been valid in the last 12 months, and that would not apply then.
Oh, okay. Okay, so I need to go for a...
You will have to go for an interview. Yeah, you will have to attend an interview at the consulate.
Okay then, thank you so much.
All the best.
Thank you so much for your call. Moving on to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Yeah, I have a question. Like my parents, they have a green card interview in India next month. And the question is, can I attend with them for the interview?
Well, you can go there just for support, but what I've heard from the consulates is that the petitioner is seldom allowed inside. So, yes, because all of the questions that deal with the relationship have been already sorted out, and that's the reason they've been set up with that appointment. And at that point, the questions just relate to them. So though you can go, and I think it is completely discretionary on part of the officer to allow you in, I know that the security people at the entrance do not allow any US citizens to come in, even though they are petitioners.
Oh, okay. Okay, all right. Thank you so much.
All the best.
All right. Taking the next call on the airwaves of Fun Asia Radio, 104.9 FM. You are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi, I'm on H1B visa right now, and my job is ending soon. So I had a question that if I go on H4 right now, and while my H4 status is pending, and I get another job, can the another company file an H1 for me at that time?
Yes, it gives you an H1. Then you can go from the H4 to an H1, and the only condition is that the H4 must be approved for the H1B to be approved. Also, we suggest doing premium processing, and the easiest way to resolve that would be to do it as consular processing, which means that you can just get the approval notice without the I-94, step out of the country and re-enter the country, because the automatic visa revalidation rules to contiguous territories, which means 797, you can step out of the country and you can re-enter the country, and that should make you start working on the H1B immediately.
But this would be if my H4 gets approved, and if my H4 is not approved while I get another job and it is still in pending status, then is this transfer possible?
No, so what I just told you was if your H4 was not approved.
Yes.
So the advice that I just gave you involves your H4 not having been approved while it's pending. So that's when I said you would do premium processing on the H1 change. You would request consular processing, get a 7.
And the time when I was in US while pending H4, that would not make me out of status if I leave the country with the visa pending.
No, good question. Very good question. No, it would not, because you had something that was pending for you, and the fact that you give it up and leave the country does not result in you having accrued any unlawful presence or any period out of status.
Okay.
All right?
Okay. Okay, thank you so much for answering that.
Okay, all the best.
972-235-5555 is the number in the studio. We have Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices answering all your questions. To get in touch with her, you do need to take an appointment from the front desk, and the number to call is 972-361-0606, ahluwalialaw.com, their website. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio. You are live on the air. Please.
I traveled to the country on an L visa, and I changed from L to H4.
Okay.
Can I do a stamping in Mexico, or do I need to go to India for visa stamping?
So in this case, it depends on the discretion of the consulate. The U.S. consulate in Mexico is for the I-539, correct?
Yes, right.
Okay, so the contiguous territory rule allows you to travel to a contiguous territory, which is either Mexico or Canada, and some Caribbean countries apply, also fit into that option. And you could just to have the H4 that has to be stamped on the passport, then obviously you'll have to go through the consulate on a discretionary basis, or then to the home country, which has to take you without any question.
Okay, so because if you're planning a trip to Mexico and I don't have a visa stamp, is it still okay? I can travel to Mexico with that Proof 797 and come back?
Right. So the condition on Mexican travel without you having a valid and get a visitor visa for Mexico, and then you can use your 7.
Less than 3 minutes left before we move into our
I
break.
think I'll stay on for another 15 minutes.
Oh,
after.
good.
I do
glad
have
about
a
that.
lot of calls
Yes,
here,
we do.
so
We do.
let's.
You have to ask your question really quick, and please turn off the radio before you ask your question. All right, I'll give you one more chance because I know you guys have been waiting for long. Okay, let's move on with our next caller. Fun Asia Radio, you are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, please. Fun Asia Radio, you are live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. All right, 972-235-5555. That's the number in the studio. Go ahead and ask your question, please. You're live on the air.
Yes, ma'am. I have one question. I just got approved for I-140.
Okay.
And I'm on the EB3 with from India.
All right.
So how many years does it take to get an approved I-145 or green card?
Wow. So you just had. What's your priority date on your I-140?
2014.
Okay. So the visa bulletin right now for India is, and it may not move. Sometimes it even rolls back depending on the use. So, by some calculations, I don't want to startle you, but by some calculations, this with the EB2 category whenever you can, and that moves slightly faster, and that has about a year, 8 to 9 year wait right now.
And what is the procedure? Is this the same procedure for work permit and green card, or is it a different procedure for a work permit?
No, the work permit only comes once you have an adjustment file, and the adjustment comes once your priority date gets current, so they're all tied in together.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much.
All the best.
All right, thank you so much. And for all the listeners who are calling us right now in the studio to reach Pallavi, you do need to know that she will be here for a good 15 minutes after that. That the website for Pallavi Ahluwalia is ahluwalialaw.offices.com, and the number to reach them is 972-361-0600.
This is complicated. So Business Matters with attorney Pallavi Ahluwalia. Call in with your questions at 972-235-5555. That's 972-235-5555. Or email pallavi@yourdesilawyer.com. Call now to get a second opinion on your current case. Contract law and civil litigation. Call 972-235-5555. That's 972-235-5555. Or email pallavi@yourdesilawyer.com. Questions for the program Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia can be in English, Hindi or Urdu. If you prefer an in-person consultation, call 972-361-0606. Remember to turn off your radio when calling. The content.
You are tuned into the legal segment on 104.9 FM Fun Asia Radio with Pallavi Ahluwalia. It is Your Business Matters with Pallavi Ahluwalia from Ahluwalia Law Offices. To reach her for private consultation is 972-361-0606, and it is very important that you take an appointment prior to meeting her. All right, with a little longer for all the calls that we are seeing
Thank you
today.
so much to the people who are waiting, actually, Mitu. That's very, very nice that they
Ask your question, please.
Hi. We did apply N400 last year of December.
Okay.
And we got the fingerprinting call, and we did give a fingerprinting last week, Friday. So I would like to know how long will it take and what is the process involved until we get that interview or naturalization, whatever it is.
Okay.
I want to know how long will it take and what is the process is involved until we get that citizenship.
Responsive to the USCIS requests. If sometimes we see USCIS come back and ask for another set of fingerprints, so you have to be aware of that. Now, you will not be set up for the interview till all your background checks are cleared, and those will clear through FBI and all the sources that the federal government uses to just check that everything's okay. The usual processing time that we're looking at in terms of being set up for an interview is about 6 to 7 months or even up to 8 months from the time that you've applied. The government may move a little faster once in a while or may slow down even more. So it's just a prediction at this point. We don't know. 6 to 7 months is what I think is when you'll get your interview, and that's rhymes with the fingerprints being cleared.
Okay, so after fingerprinting, it will take a while for that interview call and come back.
Yeah, how long are you planning on going?
I might have to go to a business trip for about 4 weeks.
Going to our next question, Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question, and please turn off your radio before you ask your question.
Hi. Actually, I have a question. I just applied my citizenship in last month, January, and I got an application number last week. And I want to know, like, how long will it take my time to my fingerprints and interview?
Okay, fingerprints maybe another 4 to 6 weeks. Within 4 to 6 weeks, you should get your fingerprinting. Once that's done, the government will clear your background and then set you up for an interview. We had the same question for the last caller, and I just told her about 6 to 7 months, maybe a bit longer or a bit shorter. Just depends on how the government is processing at that point.
Okay, so maybe it'll take 5 to 6 months going to be being a citizen, right?
Yeah, or maybe a bit longer. It could be a bit longer too. Okay?
Oh, okay. So it's like it's going to be take going to be citizen 5 to 6 months or maybe on a longer. So my husband he is on H1 B visa right function.
Okay.
So after maybe it take 5 to 6 months. So when we are applying for my husband's green card, because his H1B visa is expired next February.
Yeah. So does he have it stamped? So he can travel. So the question, if it relates to travel, yes, he can travel. Even if he has a pending green card, because the H1B will be fine to go in November and come back. If it's not stamped, then he'll have to go for stamping. He needs an advance parole, and for the advance parole, you have to give the government about 3 to 4 months from the time that you file the 485 along the November time frame, which I can see at this point that it may be too narrow. You're not going to be able to make the advance parole by that time. If you get naturalized and you file for an adjustment of status for him based on the I-130.
Green card file for him, and then it's like once application number is generated, then he can travel India, right?
No, that's what I just said. He cannot travel. So if his visa is expired, then he cannot travel. If the only way he can travel is that from the time that you apply his adjustment of status, he has to get the advance parole in his hand to be able to travel.
Okay, so all right. Okay, so maybe it's my citizenship takes like 6 to 7 months and maybe longer. So so is it a good way he renew his H1 visa?
Correct. So he'll have to get.
All right.
And how long takes his green card process?
About a year, 13 months. 12 to 13 months from the time it's applied for.
All right.
It takes 1 year, right?
Yes, that 13 months, sorry.
All right.
Thank you so much for your call. And yes, we do ask our listeners to keep our questions, their questions really brief, so that we can, give chance to as many community members here who are trying to reach Pallavi at this point of time. Yes, do want you all to know that if you want to get in touch with her, Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question. Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Fun Asia Radio, you're live. I think the family is talking amongst themselves. Okay, I hope you come back on the airwaves. Going to our next caller, Fun Asia Radio, you're live on the air. Go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah, hi, thanks for my wife holds L2 and she will be joining the same employer by Feb 22nd.
Okay.
And my employer meanwhile filed H1B as a change of status in premium mode. So I would like to know, can we convert that into a consular process now? Is there any way we can do that?
Okay, so I'm just trying to understand that you're an L1 visa. It's valid till when?
August 2016.
Okay, and your wife is right now on an L2 is starting to work for the employer. Now, for your wife to get the H1B, does she have to take the cap number, meaning does she have to go through the new quota, or does she have an H that the cap will not begin until the 1st of October? So there will be 2 months, so between August and September, where she will not be covered by any status. Asked me whether it can be done for consular processing. The advice is yes.
Okay, and meanwhile, my employer started my H1B conversion as well in premium process.
Okay, and that's fine too. Again, the same thing. If there is a gap, if there is a gap between status, so you have to maintain, will not give you the ability to do a change of status on the 1st of October. And because of that, you'll have to ask for consular processing.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Going.
Well, I have a cousin who stays outside of the country, and he's in B1, B2 visa right now, but he's going to school. So is there any way that he can come up in the United States of America and join the school over here?
Yeah, so the only way that he has to go through the requirements of being an international student, which means...
He's a 5 years old kid, so I think he can go to school in K-12.
Okay, so so getting an F1 for that age, not very sure that if that could actually be done, because schools don't issue it at the K level. And it starts out more from the high school level. Now, as a visitor, if he comes in and he's 5 years old and he starts to go to school based on the B1, he can do so for the length of the stay that he has here. The schools are not tied down to the legal status as much. They just have to look at the fact that the person is staying and has a residence within the city limits where he is trying to go. However, the B1 is not a long-lasting solution to him studying here for a while, because that will end at the end of 6 months.
Right.
I'm going to be given for kindergarten kind of classes. There are no F1s for that. The F1, and those F1s start post middle school into the junior high and senior high, and then on to college. Do not know of any.
So, what remedies do we have for him to get an admission to school for the long-term purpose?
Yeah, the conditions that the schools have, you have to go through every school's requirements, and pretty much all state schools or city schools have some conditions of having a birth certificate, having the person having 2 proofs of residence for the parents of that child, and that would be the way that they would give admission. So it could be utility bills or a lease in that area that will allow admission to that child. Okay.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. Going to our next caller, and probably the last caller for the segment. Thank you so much for hanging in there, and go ahead and ask your question, please.
Hi. I have a question on H1, H4.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I am on H1. My daughter is on H4. She's going to 12th grade this year. So can she go to the college with the same H4, or do we need to apply for F1?
No, she's good to be in college with her H4 up until she turns 21.
Until she turns 21.
So she does not remain a dependent after 21. But prior to that, she will be covered by the H4. And prior to her becoming 21 is when you'll pursue the F1.
Okay, so it doesn't matter even if it is college?
Yes. The H4 is accepted in colleges as status.
Okay. Thank you.
All the best.
Thank you so much, Pallavi, for staying back another good 15 minutes for our listeners here. Thank you, really.
Yes, and I feel bad that there are still some calls be able to answer them. Appreciate your hosting me so well, Mitu, and I look forward to being back next time.
All right, see you.
5.